Welcome back to the PowerPoint series of video tutorials from Activia Training. In our next tutorial, we're going to have a look at basic text animations. So I'm going to start up PowerPoint and an example presentation there, which has just got 8 slides on it. Basic slides, okay, some of which, actually most of which, have got some bullet points on. Okay, now if I run my presentation from the start, no transitions on the presentation. I give it a click and it moves on to the next slide, and I see all of the text immediately. Onto the next slide, and I see all of the text immediately. Now, that's not exactly what I want. What I would really like is, as I go onto the slide, it would be blank, and then subsequent clicks would introduce each individual line of text. Okay, and this is where animations come in. Okay, so let's escape out of there. I'm going to animate my second slide there. Okay, the bullet points, that's what I want to animate. I'm going to select the placeholder. Okay, so in the case of bullet points, we want to animate all of those individual lines as one. Okay, so we head up to the Animations tab, and the first thing we see is our Animations gallery. Okay, so these are the different animation effects that we can apply. Okay, so if I click Appear, I can click Preview on the left, and each individual line will just appear. Okay, you don't get a great deal of idea how that's going to work until we actually run it. We'll do that in a second. Let's try Fade and Preview. That's a little bit better. Each individual line fades in, and I think the most common one, fly in, and let's preview that, and they fly in. Now you'll notice they're coming in from the bottom. Don't want that. I want them coming in from the left hand side. So having chosen a particular animation effect that we want to apply, I can go over to Effect Options, and in this case we can change the direction. Okay, so I want these to come in from the left, and preview again, and there you go. Now let's see what that would look like on a slideshow. Nothing on the slide. Click, and the first line comes in. Click again, and the second line comes in, and on we go. Now one thing you'll note there on that third line, timings, the individual timings also came on as one big block. I may want that. I may need to tweak that so the timing lines come on individually. Okay, but there you go. Really quick and easy to animate a block of text. Now let's have a look at a few more animations there. So we've got a few there. We can also drop down our gallery, and we've got a few other animations here. Now you can see that they're all grouped. Now the green ones are all entrance animations. This is how the text will arrive on the slide. The emphasis animations are what will happen to the text once it's on the slide, and the final ones, exit animation. So this is how the text will leave the slide. Now I have to say we don't usually apply exit animations to text, but you could if you want. We also have a series of motion paths. Okay, motion paths allow usually a graphic object to follow a particular path around the slide. Okay, now down at the bottom, even more effects. So more motion paths, exit, emphasis, and more entrance effects. Let's give it a click. And here we have the full list of entrance effects. Down at the bottom, I have ticked preview effect. So as I click each of these, such as peek in, you can get an idea of what the animation is going to be like. Let's try wipe. Okay, so these are some basic effects, and box. Go down a little bit, we have some subtle effects such as swivel, some moderately exciting ones, float up, and then some exciting ones. Let's try curve up, and a boomerang. Okay, so these aren't for everybody, okay, but you have a big array of animation effects that you can apply. I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to stick with my fly in from the left. Now, when I previewed that a second ago, you may have noticed that the timing section here, that whole chunk, came in as one. Now, I don't want that. I want them to come in as individual lines. Now, what I need to do is tweak that animation. Okay, so on the right-hand side of the animation pane, well, we can tweak a few settings there, speed up or slow down each line. what I want to do is open up the animation pane. So I'm going to give animation pane a click, and here is the animation pane. Okay, so this actually shows me graphically where each element will arrive. Now at the moment I'm just looking at the whole animation for the content placeholder. It's everything. But if I expand it out at the bottom, I can then see each individual line. You'll also notice on the left hand side of each of these lines, so 5 procedures there, I've got a little mouse, and up at the top it tells me this is an on-click animation. So when I click, that line will come in. Okay, the same for facilities and timings. However, on the following lines here, there's no mouse. So if I click 9:30 till 11, at the top it says with previous, and that means that they will all come on with the timings. Okay, now I could change these individually, but I'm going to collapse that back up again. Okay, and I want to work with the whole content placeholder. If I've got a lot of bullet points, it saves me messing about with individual lines. Okay, so for the whole content placeholder, I'm going to drop down the options on the right hand side there, okay, and choose effect options. Okay, so quite a few options that we can apply to make our basic animations a little bit more exciting. So on the effect tab here, we can choose the direction again. I'm going to stick with from left. I can start that animation off smoothly and end it smoothly. Now since ours takes only half a second, okay, I think I'll leave those, but I can also apply a bounce. Let's drag that over, and I'm going to say oops, 0.1 of a second bounce at the end. Okay, and we'll see how this works in a second. Down at the bottom, other enhancements, I can apply sound. Okay, so the same range of sounds we had for our transitions earlier on. So every time a line of text comes in, I could have a drum roll. Now that really would drive me up the wall. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say no sound. And then after animation, what would I like to happen to a particular line of text after it's arrived? Okay, so the default is don't dim, which means don't do anything. If I drop that down, I could choose to hide the text immediately after the animation, which would make it somewhat hard to read, or hide one line on the next click. So as the next line of text arrives, the previous line will disappear. Now what I want to do is change the color of the text, so I'm going to make them purple. Okay, so as I've dealt with each individual line, the previous line will go purple. Animate text allows me to bring the whole line in at once, or bring that line in word by word, or letter by letter. Okay, I'm going to stick with all at once, otherwise it will slow down. Okay, timings, it's starting on a click. It tells me at the top there. Okay, I can apply delay, not usual for text. The delay would be when I click, it would wait for that length of time before the animation's actually started. Okay, I can also change the duration there. Okay, I'm going to change that to fast rather than very fast. And the final thing for us up at the top, text animation. Now the reason my timing's there and the individual timing lines came on as one because it's grouped by first level paragraph. Okay, so the items on the left, they're the first level paragraphs. I want them to come in individually by second level paragraphs. So you will notice that the third animation applies to those 5 lines. Let's change that to second level paragraphs. I click OK, and each of those lines have now got their own individual animations. And if I pop that down again, yes, they're all now on a click. Let's test it out. Give it a click, and 1 line, 2 lines. And you'll notice as soon as the second line came on, that previous line went purple. That was the dim. Okay, and click, and again I get my individual timing line followed by the timings themselves, all of which turn purple as the next line is introduced. Okay, so there you go, really quick and easy to add some quite effective animations to our slides. Now there's just one other thing I want to look at here. What about the other bullet points? Now I've got to go through the same process here and apply a transition, rather, an animation to that bullet point. I may then need to adjust it for second level paragraphs and turn the text blue, or purple rather. Rather than do that, now I've successfully animated that bullet point. I'm going to select the placeholder, and up on the right hand side of the animations tab, I'm going to double click the animation painter. I can then go to the second slide and click that placeholder, and the third, and click. Okay, so what we're doing is we copied the original animation, we're now pasting it onto a series of other slides, saving me a great deal of trouble. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that introduction to animations. Look forward to seeing you on the next video tutorial.